what could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing as well, because I spilled something on my trousers. Welcome, thank you, and thank you for the welcome and the invitation to participate in this conference. First, a few words about what the government set up in Norway. Norway do have quite a lot of water. We do at least have quite a lot of water bodies, more than 34,000 of them. A lot of water is not the situation in the southern part of Norway for the time being, and the electricity prices do reflect that fact. We have 15 river basin districts, and we have 105 sub-catchments in Norway. We share some of our water with our neighbors, of course, Sweden and Finland. There are 10 international river basin districts within our territory, and there are, which we share with Finland and Sweden, and there are 5 river basin districts which are only on Norwegian territory. The cooperation with our neighboring countries are rather good, I would say. We have an agreement with Finland from 2014, how to handle things when it comes to transitional waters, and a joint strategy on cooperation with Sweden, so developed since 2011. This is a figure that shows the levels of water governance in Norway. I should represent the ministry, of course, say that the uppermost level is the most important. But no, that's not the case. We are important, but all 3 levels here are very important in process of developing water management plans. It's a bottom-up process, as you know, from the catchment level and up to the ministry level. What we are doing right now is we are preparing the approval of the river basin management plans for all the river basin districts in Norway. This will take place in October this year. The plans was adapted by the county councils last autumn. That's how we have organized it in Norway. The county councils adapt the plans, and the ministries, my ministry, approve of them. We have asked the agencies, with the Norwegian Environmental Agency and the other agencies, to look through the plans and come with a recommendation, particularly when it comes to what we should prioritize. It's no secret, honest, that we had a very troublesome process in 2016 when we were doing this approving. And it was quite an immense job for the ministries to go through all these plans. So, of course, we'll let the agencies do it for us. Local water governance is very important, as I pointed out. 105 local catchments. They are covering, in average, 3 to 4 municipalities. They are a joint resource and expertise for the municipalities. They assist the municipalities with the responsibilities and tasks in water management. And least but not last, they contribute to stakeholder participation and public information at the local level. Because as you all know, the water is at the local level. It's financed by the government, by the agencies, by the county council, and the municipalities themselves. Status and pressures. The overall status of the water bodies in Norway is, well, rather good. About 75% of the water bodies achieve high or good status, but it's a great difference from the southeast of the country, as you see in the map there to the right, and in the northernmost part. The biggest pressures are acid rain. Acid rain is a present we got from Europe in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And it's a strange thing. It's the present that never stops to give, even though it has decreased a little bit the effects of it. Hydropower is a big pressure, so is agriculture, sewage, and invasive species. So, who are responsible for doing something with these issues, these problems that we see? Well, from this diagram, you will see that the municipalities have the responsibilities and the tools to do something for about 65% of the water bodies. Next comes the county governors, the Environment Agency, Food and Safety Authority, and Water Resources and Energy Directorate when it comes to hydropower. Environmental objectives. I like to, in all this presentation, have a picture that this is where I come from. It's all beautiful, isn't it? And it looks very nice. And you should expect there to be high status and so on. But there are certain things lurking beneath the surface there as well as it is in other places. Looking on the environmental objectives in 2021 as compared to 27 and 33, we see that it is expected that about 85% of our water bodies will have good ecological status or potential by that point of time. By the way, we are lagging one planning period behind the member countries. So our last ordinary plan is for 27 to 33. But we'll also see that by 2033, about 95% of our water bodies should achieve good status and potential. The thing is that leaves about 5% of the water bodies with the environmental objective, less stringent objective. That could be a bit problematic. Okay, the river basin management plans contain a lot of suggestions, proposals, and even demands when it comes to what should be done to obtain the objectives within 2027 or 2033. The legal stuff, reviewing of legislation and legal requirements, procedures, and so on, that is an ongoing process in Norway. But I'll also say it's a slow-going process. The regions demand that we enforce the handling of sewage, the agricultural runoff, the plastic fantastic, and enforced handling of invasive species. And it goes without saying that the regions also want more money. There's a demand for more money. We have, however, in the budget for this year, the highest budget we have had on water management. So we are pretty satisfied on that. Improvements. Progress is the theme of this conference, and we are improving. as this optimistic forecast, this arrow will indicate. And the improvement on the knowledge we have, the knowledge we base our decisions on, is getting better. There are twice as many registration of data in the databases now than what it was in 2016. But there's still a way to go. We have also discovered and learned, of course, as all of you probably have, that national guidelines are important. National guidelines are important to update. National guidelines are important to make what we are doing transparent, not only for water managers, but also for everyone else taking part in this big project that water management and river basin management plans are. We see that conflict level is lower now than it was, for instance, for 6 years ago. Of course, we do have conflicts and big conflicts, but the tone, the discussion is a bit more civilized now than it was for, well, some years ago, and we appreciate that. More about what we are doing and how competent we are. We should boast of our own efforts. I do that, and I boast of the efforts of the agencies, the regional level and the local level in in the water management activity and the water management work. What we see that our improved guidances contribute to is, for instance, that the proposed measures for the period 22 to 27 are more specific than they were in 2016. And the economic costs as well as the environmental and societal benefits are to a larger degree quantified. That is something that reflects on how people outside the water management society look upon river basin management plans. We even get praise from OECD. This is a fresh report on the environmental performance review. I will not dive into the details, but it says here, this framework could serve as a model for other aspects of ecosystem and land management, especially with regard to cross-sector coordination. I think that's very fine. I think that's very good that water management stand out as a model for other management of environmental issues in Norway. But it also states that we have a way to go, we as well. So status is that the ministry have received the river basin management plans through the agencies who are giving us advice and a recommendation how we should handle it. And we are now having a process with the agencies. There's always an interest of conflict when a number of ministries are involved to come up with a governmental decision. So, but we'll get there, and we will report to Brussels at the end of the year, and we'll see what kind of response we get from there. Thank you for your attention.